Welcome to Hot Walk Academy. My name is Mingjin Tong. I want to help you master your kitchen. Let's cook. Today we're going to talk about rice. Now there are so many videos that could be made about rice, and here's why. Rice is such an important part of an Asian meal. My family came from Taiwan in the late 70s. I was born here in the US, and every single meal growing up, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, we had rice. And there's so much to know, so let's just do a quick review of what we know about rice, and we'll also demonstrate cooking the rice. So let's start over here. This is a long grain jasmine rice. Now this rice is very aromatic. It cooks up nice and fluffy, not super sticky, although if you don't wash the starch out, and the starch is mixed in, obviously, in the bag of rice, if you don't wash it out, it can be pretty sticky, but if you rinse it before you cook it, this rice is fragrant, long grain, and has a nice texture to it. So highly recommend this one as a daily eating rice, if you will. Now, this is a long grain jasmine rice, and that same jasmine rice, at the bottom of the barrel or the sack, those nice long grains can get broken. And when they are broken, they will actually collect them. And I think these days, broken rice is actually intentionally manufactured to be broken. And you know what? Especially one of my daughters, she loves broken rice. The texture of jasmine broken rice is amazing. Highly recommend that you look for this. You can find this at any Asian grocery store. It's usually popular in Vietnamese cuisine. Broken rice is wonderful. If you haven't tried it before, try that out. The next variety is one that we'll actually be cooking today. This is a variety of rice called kokuho, the rose variety, grown in California. This is a short grain sushi rice, or you might call it a medium grain sushi rice. It's a fantastic, very fragrant. This is our family's choice of rice that we eat on a regular daily basis. This is another sushi rice, Japanese brand. And this sushi rice is fantastic. If you're going to be making sushi, this is the rice that you want to go with. And we'll demonstrate that some other time. Another variety of rice is this red plum brand sweet rice. Now this is the kind of rice that you would find, it's a very short grain rice, almost like a little sphere. And this is the kind of rice that you would find in any kind of a dessert. So if you've ever had a mango sticky rice, this is the rice that you are eating. So again, longer all the way down to shorter. And just two varieties to also bring into the mix. This is a black rice. This black rice takes a little bit longer to cook. Usually you want to soak it and then you'll want to steam it. And if you mix it in, say with one of these other rices, you'll create what is called a purple sticky rice because of the natural color leaching out and coloring the white rice. Beautiful rice, great texture. Try this one out. And here, since I'm in Minnesota, this is a wild rice harvested. We got this from Duluth. This wild rice is amazing. Try that out for sure. But this is what we're going to do today. Is I want to talk about my rice cooker and how to cook rice. If you're going to be cooking rice on a regular basis, I highly recommend that you invest in a very good quality rice cooker. If you have a rice cooker, it will help you to be able to make rice perfectly pretty much every time. This is a Da Tong rice cooker from Taiwan. This rice cooker is one that my mom brought in the late 70s from Taiwan to the US. You know, I did try to wipe it off, but I couldn't get it any cleaner than this, but you know what? The inside is perfectly clean. Here's the components. It's got a lid that helps keep the steam in. And we have this part here. We call this a nei guo, which means inner pot. This is the pot that holds the rice and the water. And the actual pot, the rice cooker itself, is impermeable, and you actually put water on the outside. This is the way that it works. Once you put your rice and water in here, you set that down, but you also take 1 cup of water and you put it between the nei guo and the rice cooker. And what's happening is that the thermostat is sensing that there is water in here. It will boil that water, and as that water boils off, it will hit the lid and come back down, and that steam is going to be steaming your rice all around, the ambient steam, and it's going to be cooking your rice from the bottom. So 2 cooking methods in one pot. Not every rice cooker is like this. I do like this one because you can use it as a steamer as well as a rice cooker. But any kind of a rice cooker popularly available at any market in the US is going to do a good job, much better than just on the stove. Let's go ahead and get started. I'll set my rice cooker just to the side and put the cap on it. I do want to introduce one more piece, and that is the rice bin that we have at our house and that we use every day. This particular rice bin we got from H Mart, which is a wonderful Korean grocery store. If you have one in your town, go check it out. It's amazing. Very simple rice bin, but we just keep this in our cabinet on a daily use basis. And we don't actually buy little bags of rice like this. We buy a 50-pound bag at a time. And it's cheaper that way, and of course we go through quite a bit of rice. So what you want to do is you'll want to measure out essentially 1 cup per person. So if you're cooking for 3 or 4 people, probably do 3 cups of rice. And you know what? It doesn't have to be perfect. I know that oftentimes people do pretty perfect ratios on rice, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you the method that I was taught as a child, okay? So rice in the pot, and again, we want to wash that rice out. Why are we washing the rice? 2 reasons. Number 1, there are trace elements of, I believe, arsenic in the rice through the growing process. We definitely want to remove that. But I've been eating rice for all my life, and sometimes I wash it, sometimes I don't. And you know what? I've been okay pretty much all my life. This is what we're going to do for washing. What we want to do is you want to rinse your rice with cold water, and you want to go ahead and mix it, and right away you will begin to see how much starch is loose in the rice. Let me see if I can show that to you here. And that water is just milky because there's so much starch in there. Now, is it possible to wash that rice until it's totally clear? Yep. It takes a little bit of time. You can do it, but in my mind, it's actually not that important. The more starch you have, the stickier the rice is going to be, and the less starch you have, obviously, the looser it's going to be. So let's agitate that to get that, get all the starch incorporated, and we're going to dump that out here. And we're going to do that again. Let's wash it a second time. Again, just fill that up. Agitate it, and as that water gets cloudy, we're going to let that starch get into the water, and we're going to dump that out. You can see it's running a little bit more clear, and we'll just do that one more time. We'll remove most of the starch through 3 washes. Again, you want to wash always in cold water, not in hot water. All right, you can see that's running a lot more clear. Okay, now the question is, how much water do you put to your rice? What is the right ratio to use? This is what we do. This digit in my middle finger is actually just the right distance of water to put. So this is what we'll do. We'll go ahead and add the water and make sure that the rice is nice and level. Here's a good place to stop and just make sure that our rice is level in our pot. And then from here, we're going to keep filling it until the water level where if my finger is on touching the rice, then the water comes up to that first digit of my middle finger. So here we go. Let's try that. All right, and just a little bit more should do us. All right, and let's see. We'll stick our finger in, and that's about right. The tip of my middle finger is touching the rice, and the water is coming up to the first digit. After you've got the right amount of water in your rice, next, we're gonna put it into our rice cooker. So here's a little tip to know. The amount of water you put into the rice cooker, the rice steamer, is the length of time. If you want to cook longer, put more water. If you want to cook shorter time, put less water. So I know that we need 1 cup of water for 1 pot of rice. So that goes not into the rice, but into the rice cooker itself. Then you want to set your rice and water in there, put the cap on. Let's go ahead and get that plugged in. And we want to turn that on. Turn that on by flipping it down. This is what's going to happen. The thermostat on the inside of the rice cooker will realize now that needs to heat up, and it's going to continue heating until all the water is boiled off, at which point the temperature will rise, the thermostat will trip, and the rice cooker will go from cooking to keeping warm. That takes about 20 minutes. Now, when you hear the switch trip back up, do not open your rice cooker. It is not done yet. The rice needs to continue to steam, and that steam will continue to cook that rice. So leave that lid on for at least 10 more minutes and open it up, and you'll have white, wonderful, fluffy rice ready to go. Thanks so much for watching this episode. Please join us for future episodes. And remember, we are not here to make videos just to entertain you. We want you to cook along with us to continue developing those cooking instincts. Thanks again.